You've marched. You've written. You're ready to help defend the West Coast against Kinder Morgan's pipeline. Now, the company is gearing up for construction and you can help be the movement's eyes on the ground. This video will give you the tools to keep watch on Kinder Morgan. Already the company has jumped the gun in starting construction, and we need you to be watching them like a hawk. Kinder Morgan's pipeline runs west from Edmonton across the interior and out through the Fraser Valley and Lower Mainland to Burrard Inlet. Its entire route through British Columbia can be found on our website at km-watch.ca. All along the way, it crosses unceded Secwepemc, Ntlakatmuk, Stalo, and Coast Salish territory. From Jasper National Park, it more or less follows Highway 5 south to Kamloops. Crucially, these northern interior areas will likely be where Kinder Morgan is first able to start construction of the pipeline itself, as they show the least opposition to its route. More on that later, but please check our interactive map for details of this section. Once the pipeline arrives in Kamloops, it cuts through Lac du Bois Grasslands Protected Area and then crosses the Thompson just west of Brocklehurst. From there, it runs due south to wrap around the west edge of Jacko Lake, rejoins the highway near Merritt, and runs down the Coquihalla to Hope. As it approaches Chilliwack, it runs south of Sardis, north of Vetter Crossing, and then south of Yarrow before heading for the tank farm at Sumas Mountain. It runs underneath the Sandy Hills neighborhood in Abbotsford, west past Fort Langley, around Walnut Grove in Langley, and then into North Surrey along the railway tracks. Kinder Morgan's pipeline crosses the Fraser next to the Port Mann and runs through industrial Coquitlam south of Highway 1. It enters Burnaby to run past the condos along Government Street and Burnaby Mountain Secondary to the tank farm. From there, it will tunnel under Burnaby Mountain, emerging at the Westridge Terminal, where they will need to build 2 new tanker berths. Along the route, there are 8 planned sites to stockpile pipeline, in East Vancouver, New Westminster, Chilliwack, Hope, Merritt, Kamloops, Vavenby, and Valemont. There are also planned work camps in Hope, Merritt, Clearwater, Blue River, and Valemont. These sites can all be found in yellow on our interactive map. In order to help keep tabs on Kinder Morgan, we've enabled you to download the route into your Google Maps app. On our km-watch.ca portal, you can find the KMZ files you'll need to load into your map. On googlemaps.ca, visit the menu button in the top left-hand corner, go down to Your Places, and on the Maps tab, hit Create Map. Under the untitled layer, click Import, and then upload the first of the KMZ files. Click Add Layer, and repeat for the work sites. In your Google Maps app, find the menu button at the top left corner, go to Your Places, and swipe right to Maps. Find the map you've created. Now you have the Kinder Morgan pipeline route along your phone, and you can see where you're at along the route. You can toggle in between satellite and default levels, but make sure you zoom in to the places that you want to check out so you can keep the map up if you lose service. But when can we expect all this to happen? How will Kinder Morgan's construction play out? Can they even start on their pipeline yet? Kinder Morgan has started driving piles into Burrard Inlet at the Westridge Marine Terminal. It also has a request into the National Energy Board to start work on its 2 portals for the tunnel it wants to drill under Burnaby Mountain. And we know from its filings that 250,000 tons of pipeline should begin showing up at its stockpile sites around November 20th. We need folks to be monitoring these stockpile sites that week to see where the pipeline arrives and verify our information. Please take high-resolution photos using a phone or DSLR camera so we can distribute to the media. Here's a list of addresses provided in Kinder Morgan's filings. Beyond the tank farm and marine terminal, the only construction Kinder Morgan is allowed to start before the route is approved is clearing vegetation and building access roads. One of the first things that will appear along the pipeline route is survey stakes. These wooden stakes with colored ribbon along the right-of-way will be a clear indication Kinder Morgan expects to begin work soon. Lengths of the pipeline they plan to start first can be found on the construction calendar posted to our KM Watch portal, though keep in mind they may be out of date. Look especially along the routes of the pipeline that diverge from the existing right-of-way, as those will need new clearing work to be done. At the moment, Kinder Morgan's pipeline route is not approved anywhere in British Columbia. That means they cannot start construction on the actual pipeline yet. Detailed route hearings for the Burnaby segment of the pipeline start in January, and others have yet to be announced. Many statements of opposition have been filed in Chilliwack over the route of the pipeline through the Sardis-Vetter aquifer. These hearings over the route will delay pipeline construction until disputes are resolved. It appears likely that Kinder Morgan will be able to start construction first on the northern interior segments due to less opposition around the route. Another probable delay for the project is the province of British Columbia's position that Kinder Morgan has not met its conditions due to lack of Indigenous consultation. It lists 5 management plans which have not yet met that bar, including those for species at risk and workforce accommodation. That means there are some areas of the route which Kinder Morgan should not be able to start construction, where those permits and conditions apply. So far, it's unclear on exactly where those are, so we need to be ready to explore this avenue wherever the company puts shovels in the ground. Construction of a work camp in Merritt has already been delayed due to a failure to meet these conditions. For now, it's best to keep an eye out for the pipeline itself and any clearing and access work being done on the route. Here's what we know about Kinder Morgan's pipeline. It has a 40-inch diameter and will be anywhere from 12 to 24 meters long. It may have a red, white, or green cover wrapped around it for protection and will be smooth. You might see it stored with induction bands that wrap around the line. A key piece of equipment to watch out for is the horizontal directional drilling rig. When one of these appears next to a key waterway, you'll know Kinder Morgan is readying to drill underneath a river. Similarly, if pumps, hoses, and culverts start showing up next to a stream, it's a good sign the company plans to put temporary dams to dig a trench through the water. How does a pipeline actually get built? There are a number of steps. It starts with staking, as we mentioned, and then grading the land to flatten it if required. Then, individual pipeline lengths will be strung along the pipeline route one after another, bent to shape and then joined together. Excavators will dig a trench, and then workers will lower the pipeline into the trench and cover it up. It's important to note this can be happening at numerous locations along the route at the same time. Not all pipeline activity along the route is Kinder Morgan starting construction on its expansion project. There are gas lines and water mains all over British Columbia which are constantly under construction and repair. First thing to do when you see work that might be suspicious is to check if it's on Kinder Morgan's pipeline route. You can find all that info in our interactive map or download it to your phone as explained before. Not all construction along the route is Kinder Morgan. Pipelines often go through the same corridor. Enbridge is currently upgrading its natural gas pipeline along the Coquihalla, which has given many folks, including our own staff, a start. The best thing to do when you find construction is ask local folks around if they know how long it's been going on for and who is doing the work. Finally, Kinder Morgan regularly does maintenance on its existing pipelines. This is called an integrity dig, where they check to ensure the pipeline is working properly. If you see crews digging along the pipeline route without lengths of pipeline next to it, or before the route has been approved and conditions have been met, it's likely an integrity dig. You can check the National Energy Board's website to see if Kinder Morgan has any integrity digs scheduled in your area. But of course, if you see any construction activity along the pipeline route and you're not sure, feel free to email us at kmwatch@wildernesscommittee.org. I would rather get 20 false alarms than let Kinder Morgan start their construction without the public knowing about it. For now, we're taking all this information in ourselves and compiling it, but we will be looking for more ways for collaborative opportunities for people who are checking out the pipeline route. So keep in touch for that. Please use and share this video wildly, especially if you have contacts who live along Highway 5 between Jasper and Kamloops. Together we can make sure the communities at risk know exactly what Kinder Morgan is up to.